Yo, it's Brian and Jim once again from DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, and today we are going to be looking at the PlayStation 2 exclusive, the Simpsons Skateboarding.
Released in 2002, this game was developed by the Code Monkeys. They're defunct now. They weren't one of the more well-known developers, and the ones that come to mind the most are Castlevania Area of Sorrow for the mobile devices, and for a little blast in the past for us, Turrican on the Genesis.
God damn it!
That's right, good old Turrican. It was published by EA, and we all know who the hell they are.
Let me start off by saying, look at Onimusha. Now look at Devil May Cry. Now look at this game. You see a difference? Because we sure do. Those first two games I just mentioned, they came out before this. Onimusha coming out 2 years before this. So the PS2 is capable of some pretty goddamn impressive feats as far as graphics are concerned. Now we know this is a game based on a cartoon, so they're going for a more cartoony effect. And that's fine for the sprites. But look at these stages. Look at Springfield. It's just so very simple. The colors, they're fine. There's some decent shading here and there. But this looks like something that could have easily been passed on the PlayStation 1. This is not a PlayStation 2 worthy title as far as the graphics. And we're not graphics snobs. Graphics don't always make a game better. But when you have the capabilities and you just fucking drop the ball, this is what you're left with. I will say there is a number of different stages, and they all are done fairly different, except for the buildings and the trees and a lot of the coloring. But hey, at least you have different sprites, so that's cool. Overall, me and Jim gave it a 5. I'm adding 2 beers just because of Onimusha!
The sound. Again, another one where you just kind of go, eh. There's different music in the game. There's a lot of different music, actually. And it's fine. It doesn't scream Simpsons. It tries to go with more of the Tony Hawk feel by being, up-tempo, a little bit punkish, a little bit rockish. It's just kind of weird. It's very bland, and it doesn't pull off what other games do a lot better. I know some of them have licensed music, but you get what I'm trying to tell you here. The sound effects in the games, they're okay. They kind of sound like pipes when you hit them. They sound like skateboarding. It's nothing that, say, couldn't have been done on the PlayStation 1, but it's fine. There's voiceover work in the game. You consistently get Kent Brockman and statements from the in-game characters. You don't get that many different voiceover stuff. You're going to hear the same called moves again and again and again and again. And every character only has so many sayings as well. So it's, again, a thing where it could have been a lot better. Brian gave it a 5. I gave it a 6. It is what it is. And I'll just add another beer because it can spice it up for you a little bit.
Oh, goody, the control. One of my favorite subjects, especially in games that suck. Now this one, to be honest, when we first turned it on, we reached about a 6-pack deep. And I'm not going to say we were at our sharpest, but we literally spent a half an hour on the first skill school trying to learn the first couple moves. And I shit you not, we could not do it to save our goddamn lives. We put the game away, I came back a little bit later, and I was sober. And I just found out that, yeah, I was just sucking at that point. The control is doable, but it is highly specialized, so you're going to have to invest some time. And that's usually not a good thing. But a game like this, man, you gotta sink some hours just to really get the control down before you can actually start having real fun. Because otherwise, you're gonna do this. Fall on your face, never land on a pipe, fucking run into everything. You just have to get so good. And even once you get good at this, the controls just are stiff for some reason. I'm gonna give it a 5. Jim gave it a 6. I think it's only because he could do the grinds a little better than me. I'm adding 2 beers just because who wants to waste all their time playing a game first having to learn the controls? Fuck that.
Alright, the gameplay. Well, have you played Tony Hawk? Because this tries to do that. Like Brian said, I was a little bit better at the grinding, but there is one thing you can take away from the gameplay. During the course of the game, you have different objectives. Some of them are, meeting up with a set number of characters all over Springfield. Some of them are item collection. And some of them are really just point trials. Also to note though, as you complete missions and do things in the game, you earn money. And you use that money to unlock attribute points for all the characters that you have. So you can customize them as much as you want. That's actually pretty cool. And there is a fun fact to be found here. So for the fun alone, Not saying it's, crazy fun, but it's enough to make it above average, if ever so slightly. So we both gave it 6s. I'll add one beer just for it, it actually pulled off being fun. Good for the game.
Ready for one of the quickest originality rants we ever had? Okay, it's not original at all. It's Tony Hawk with the skin of the Simpsons. There it is. I'm not kidding. That's it. We both gave it a 2. The only reason we didn't give it a 1 is because it is a Simpsons, and other than Tony Hawk's, there weren't a ton of skateboarding games at the time. 2s overall. We're adding 3 beers just for such a blatant ripoff.
Well, once again, there's actually a lot of replayability here. There's all the different characters. The big way to get replayability out of a game is to make it unique. And with the attribute point system, you can make every player unique to your specific playstyle. You can change them up. You can make it a different gameplay experience every time. Besides that, there's different difficulties. You can always go for a better high score, so it has that kind of arcadey feel to it. It gives you a lot of options to keep you coming back if you like it. We both gave it 8s. It's highly replayable. You don't even need to add a beer again. It's replayable. What are you going to say?
All right, so overall, what are we going to say? It's a Tony Hawk clone. We all know it at this point. But there is some strange amount of fun, like Jim said. And I think it's just me and Jim both like skateboarding games. No, neither of us were ever big skateboarders, but there is something innately fun about it. And you kind of always are challenging yourself. Kind of brings you back that arcadey feel. And it doesn't hurt to hear some of your familiar voices from your childhood that you enjoyed so much. Overall, we both gave it a 6. It's not the worst Simpsons game ever. Not by a long shot. And you know what? For the beer pairing, we're going to go with Lion's Head Light. Why, do you ask? It's pretty simple. Lion's Head Light is a beer that me and Jim both really enjoy, but the majority of people don't really like it. And it seems to be the same with this game. Sure, there's not a ton of alcohol, but there's a decent amount of flavor. And guess what? It only costs like $14 for an entire case. You can't beat that. So you can easily pound through a multitude of those beers while getting some enjoyment out of this game. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and make sure you subscribe so you see our new videos each week. Come back tomorrow for another Simpsons game review. See you then.